Hey guys, what is up? Oh my goodness, I am back here once again for another episode of the Cheese Pie Podcast. I'm recording this the day after I recorded the last one because, oh my goodness, I've been studying all day and I'm so freaking done. And what better way to end the studying with is a podcast. So I'm doing a podcast. Maybe if you're out there, maybe if you are out there listening in this world and you are studying right now and listening to this podcast, maybe I can make your studying just that much worse because you'll probably be focusing on what I say. You won't be paying attention to what you study, and then when that section of what you were studying comes up on the exam and you're like, oh crap, I freaking know about freaking Cheese Pie and his freaking whatever video game he was playing or whatever freaking random freaking rant he went on, but I don't know the material for the course. So you know what? I'm just gonna write down, hey guys, what's up? Cheese Pie Double 13 here, exclamation mark on my exam. And you know what? Let's just hope that, the professor is a Cheese Pie Double 13 fan and he can relate. Maybe he was freaking watching or listening to the Cheese Pie podcast while he's marking the exams. Maybe that happens. Who knows? Freaking possibilities are endless in this world. Wow, already went on crazy journey there. So this, this podcast is going to go places. It's going to go places, whether these are good places, whether these are worthwhile, whether it even freaking matters at all what I have to say. That's debatable. That's up for the future to whatever the future has in store. Future shop. That's the see what your future. Sorry, I'm just thinking of the freaking slogan for Future Shop, which is now owned by Best Buy, and I'm pretty sure all the future shops have closed. So, that's things aren't looking too bright for the future. I can tell you that much. But, oh God, I am crazy. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't last podcast was interesting. You heard me complain about how everyone else is complaining about hateful YouTube comments and stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed that, or you completely disagree with me on it or whatever. Hopefully you have an opinion of your own that is valid, as I have stated in the previous podcast. But today I don't really have anything. That I don't really have any specific thing I want to drill into, that I really wanted to talk about or whatever. So I figured I just talk about some of the video games I've been playing and stuff. So, maybe I'll go into that in a bit. I'm just sitting here right now. Right beside me, I've got this amazing, it's Christmas time, right? It's Christmas time. Christmas is coming up. Maybe you don't celebrate Christmas, and if you don't, that's fine. I don't care. Christmas is cool. If you celebrate Kwanzaa or whatever, or if you're just weeks off of school, or if a lot of my friends aren't in school anymore, I'm still in school. I don't know what I'm saying. Just Christmas is coming up, and my mom decided to bring in this little SpongeBob Christmas ornament that I got when I was freaking 10. And because she obviously thinks it looks tacky and doesn't want to put it in the tree, she brings it up so I can put it on my desk, and it's sitting here right beside me, reminding me that it's Christmas, and this Christmas feels like the very first Christmas to me, but not really because I've been through a lot of Christmases. But it's a reference to SpongeBob, put the star on top, it completes all the scenery and stuff. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. If not, that freaking reference flew right over your head and goes off into infinity now. No stopping that reference. But yeah, Christmas. Just let me know your favorite Christmas jingle in the comments if you're listening. Mine's Jingle Bells, probably is a classic. Because, it's a classic. And I know how to frickin' play it on the frickin' piano. You know what? Let me see if I can play that for you right now. Let's see. This is something new. But I have a keyboard in my room. Turn on the volume because it's always really loud. Hopefully that shows up. I'm not getting any freaking my audio just cut out because I switched freaking workspaces on Premiere. So in case you're using Premiere and you switch workspaces while you're recording audio, it's just gonna stop. It's just gonna stop recording. So that's great. That's some knowledge for you guys out there. But let me play some of that amazing Jingle Bells for you right now. Get ready for this. This is gonna be quality entertainment. Oh goodness, whatever. Well, I screwed up a few times, but that's fine. I don't claim to be a professional pianist, because I couldn't, no one would believe me if I... Did you hear that? That's one-handed, single note at a time. I didn't do any chords, didn't do any crazy C chords like that, or D, or E, F, G, A, B, C. Yeah, I'm showing off. I know all the frickin' major chords or whatever they're called. I took piano lessons when I was 3. So, sue me. Please don't sue me. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about video games, and that never kind of happened. But we're about 7 minutes in again. Was it 7 minutes last time that I made an acknowledgement that I was 7 minutes in? I don't know, but let's talk about video games. Let's talk about some video games. What I've been freaking playing. Haven't had that much time to play video games, obviously, with school and stuff. But I've been playing a bit. Some nights I'd just be like, okay, I'm done with schoolwork. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just gonna play a video game until it's time to go to bed, and I'll talk about some of the video games I played. So let's see. Let me look through my Steam library here and. Let me point out what I've been playing. Okay, so what was that game? Oxenfree. Oxenfree, I think, was one of the first games I played this school year. When I played through it. I think I spent sometimes on the weekends when I had some free times, which was hard to find, but there was some here and there. And yeah, overall, so let me explain what kind of game Oxenfree is. It's basically a narrative game. It's you play as this girl. She's in 10th grade, I think, or 11. Anyway, she's in high school, and you play. Her name's Alex. You play as her, and basically, there's this big celebration thing you do because it's tradition for the grade 10s or whatever at the end of the year to go to this island and stay there overnight. You're not supposed to stay overnight at the island. It's like a tourist attraction, and it's only open during the day. But these guys, they stay overnight, and stuff starts to go down. Some little paranormal stuff starts to happen. Basically, the whole game, just most of the game mechanics are around you just walking around and exploring, and the dialogue has a lot to play with it, based on your dialogue choices, different outcomes, different endings happen, and blah blah blah. And there's some cool stuff to it. I think I really enjoyed it. I think the kind of games that I've been into recently, a lot of them have been smaller indie games. And this game, I played through it twice because the game gives you a reason to play through it a second time, just so you know, if you want to get some extra replay value out of it. But 2 playthroughs, 9 hours, so maybe about 5 or 6 hours the first playthrough, and then another 4 the second. It's a good sizable game. It feels like there's a difference between. How do I want to say this? There's a difference between like what I feel is a comfortable size for a movie, which is like an hour and a half, right? For a game, like if I want to have like a narrative focus sort of just good good, full story told sort of game. Like I think the ideal range is probably around 4 hours. I think 4 hours. It's like 4 hours. I feel like you can get a good cohesive game because games there's a you have to allow for more time for like the gameplay mechanics and stuff like that. Like Firewatch, for example, if you played Firewatch, it's another narratively focused game. That one's first person. Oxenfree is more of a 2D side scroller. There's no platforming in it. It's more just you kind of walk around the area. I'm trying to think of a game it would relate to. It's in a kind of like a point and click, except you're not pointing or clicking. You're physically moving your character around the world. So yeah, I'm sure there's a game that has similar sort of game mechanics to it. I just can't think of one right now. But um, yeah, so like 4 hours, I think that's a good reasonable time for a game. Like give or take an hour or two on that. But like I think like 4 hours is a good like for a game that has that kind of movie feel, that has that kind of like arc. Not like when you get into games like maybe the Uncharted series. Like the Uncharted series, it doesn't feel like you're like you can say it's cinematic and you can say it feels like a movie, but the game as a whole, if you take the whole thing, the whole experience of playing an Uncharted game or Last of Us or something really like of that scale, like it feels more like an adventure than a movie, right? It feels like you're transitioning, you're going through these bunch of things, right? Of course there's an overarching narrative to the whole thing, but it feels more like an adventure, right? It feels more like like when I was playing Last of Us for the second time, when I was watching my friend play it, I was like, there's so much to The Last of Us. Like when I think of it, it's like, oh yeah, Joel and Ellie, they do their thing, and then blah blah blah, and then that happens, and then this thing. I don't want to spoil it, but things happen, and then the end, right? But when you play through the game a second time, you're like, oh my goodness, the more I think about it, the more stuff there's still left in the game, right? More stuff, like the more there was to the game, the more freaking parts there are. Like it feels like this whole adventure. And then when you complete it, you get this freaking satisfying ending. And it just feels like, it's more about the journey of that than the destination, right? It feels like that sort of thing. Whereas like a 4 hour-ish sort of story, it feels like a movie, right? It feels like, you got the beginning first hour of just kind of setting up the scene and the setting and getting to know the characters, and you got the middle part, which is maybe the middle 2 hours, where stuff starts to build up, stuff starts to get intense. You don't know what's going on, right? And then at the end, you've got the freaking conclusion, right? It's like a movie, right? Whereas I guess what a good comparison would be what's a like, think of a short action movie or something. Or well, it's not really okay. I'm thinking more narrative, so I gotta think of a movie more narratively focused. What's a good narrative movie I saw? uh Whatever, I'll say Doctor Strange. It's like the most recent movie I saw. It's not very, I don't think it's the best example, but it'll work. So Doctor Strange, it's got this, the doctor, blah blah blah. He doesn't know. I don't want to spoil it, but doctor. He becomes, it's your typical, person becomes a superhero sort of movie. So they're not at the beginning. They're not a superhero, and then they start becoming a superhero. They fight evil, and then finally they defeat evil. The end. Right. That's like your typical movie. But then, and I would compare that to like Oxenfree or what was the game I just freaking mentioned? Firewatch. I would compare that to that sort of experience. Whereas a game like Uncharted or The Last of Us, I would compare that to like the full series of The Lord of the Rings, right? The full series of The Lord of the Rings. It feels like you're going on this epic journey. Like, the more you think about it, like the more like there's so much to it. There's so many places all the characters been. There's so many things that went on that happened, right? And it feels like when you come to the end, it feels like you've been through this entire journey and this long experience, and you just, it's got that sort of feeling. Whereas like the 4 hour experiences, that's more, just like a short movie. And like I think I'm more into those short experiences right now. Just like you can be more into different types of movies at a certain time. Like I'm into shorter experiences right now. But like although I'll talk about the next game I play. That one's actually a longer experience. And I think like I feel like school maybe kind of, maybe I like school has like during the past like 4 or 5 years of my life, school has been like a big thing, right? And I haven't had much time to do other things. So these short experiences have been really, really easy to play, easy to find the time to play. Whereas a long experience, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get an hour in here, but I'm like, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to finish this long game, right? So I think that's why I'm more into short experiences right now. But okay, so the next game I played was Shadow of Mordor. It's another reference to Lord of the Rings. Wow, what a connection! Totally meant for that. Whatever. So I played through that, and that was, let me see how long that took me on Steam. Where is it? Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor. 17 hours. 17 hours. There's probably some time in there where I just left the game open by accident. So I'd say that's maybe a 15 hour experience. So that's definitely longer. That might be like, maybe the length of like an Uncharted, although it's a different kind of game. This is more of like an open world sort of game, right? And there's something different to that. But like I felt like I think I started this at the beginning of the year, maybe even before I started school, but I ended up finishing it during the maybe like a month ago or a couple weeks ago, I think. At this point, I ended up finishing it, and overall, it was like I felt near the end. I felt like as I got back into it, I felt like I can get back into like a longer form game. I feel like one of the next games I've been wanting to play was The Witcher 3, because I've heard great things about that. And I was a bit worried before that, I wouldn't be able to get, because The Witcher apparently has like 150 hours gameplay if you include all the DLC and stuff. And I'm just like, whoa, am I going to be able to do something like that? Am I going to be able to actually get all the value out of that? And I think like after playing this game and after making through it, like I think I've gone back to that. Like I remember like back in the day, and probably in high school, where you'd get like a big AAA game and it'd be like this whole thing. It's like, oh, I finally got a new game. I'm gonna play this, gonna get my full value out of this. Which is it's changed a lot, because now you got Humble Bundles, you got Steam sales, and I've got frickin', let me tell you how many games. I got 331 games on Steam. I haven't even like played even half of those, right? It's crazy. I haven't even touched maybe I've played a quarter of them. Maybe. The amount I've actually completed, maybe an eighth, maybe a 16th of those. I don't know. But just what was I going on about? Yeah, okay, so like back in the day, back in high school, when you used to get like one game every so often for your consoles, like you get the full experience and you get immersed. You get really immersed in the game, I feel. It was easier to get immersed in like a long form game. and I think I might be able to. I think I'm feeling like I might be able to get back into that, and that might happen with The Witcher 3. It might also not. I might end up playing it like a bit, maybe completing the story, and that's pretty much it. But we'll have to see. I'll have to see what happens, because I definitely, games are fun, and I've heard a lot of good things about The Witcher 3. So if it's as good as everyone's saying it is, then it seems like it'd be worth the time investment. Maybe not 100 hours. Maybe I won't play every single side quest, but maybe I get a decent chunk of game play out of that. At least play through the story, do side missions as I'm going along and stuff. So yeah. So let me talk a bit more about Shadow of Mordor. Uh, Overall, I found that was a really good. In the beginning, I remember in the beginning, I felt the amount of times that I freaking died playing. What is it? Just trying to freaking kill the freaking warlords, the Uruks, killing all the Uruks, and the freaking warlords and stuff. Oh my goodness, I died so many times. I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't. Like I couldn't like freaking master the gameplay, and I could and it's so frustrating when you die in that game because they freaking taunt you, right? The warlords, if a warlord kills you, he'll taunt you, and like when you come back to fight him again, it's like, oh, you're back again. Killing you will be easy, just like the last time. I'm like, gosh darn it, I don't want to. I want to freaking kill this guy, but I can't because I can't master this freaking gameplay. And eventually I kind of picked it up. It's not very forgiving. I think I feel like you have to play in this certain way to be like actually good at the gameplay. It's got that sort of Batman Arkham style combat system and stuff. So there's a certain way you gotta play it, and I didn't figure that out until maybe a third of the way through the game, and then eventually it started getting easier. And by the end, I found like I got the tactics down and stuff, and I was taking out all the warlords, and that was actually pretty fun. Just kind of getting my whole, kind of just taking over the different warlords, having them all part of my team. It was a cool experience, and overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I get like some of it was a bit repetitive, although they kind of mixed it up with the story stuff, and it wasn't always the same. But the combat system, it's satisfying, but if you start messing up and you start making a lot of mistakes, and you just keep on losing health, that's another thing about that game. It's like you have like a set amount of health, and like during combat, it's super hard to gain health. You gotta get like these special, whatever they're called, runes, or I don't know. Like you gotta get this like some random special upgrades give you health and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It was a good game overall. I'd recommend it. It was fun. Just you gotta learn how to freaking master that gameplay in the beginning, or else you'll get pretty frustrated like I did. But eventually I figured it out. So that's cool and stuff. Is there anything else I played, or should I get on to what I'm playing right now? I feel like there was another. Oh, yes. I did play another game. Where is it? Here it is. Titan Souls. So, this is like a smaller indie game. I beat it. It took me 4 hours to beat. But this isn't a narratively focused game. This is more just like gameplay. And I really enjoyed it. Like what the whole gameplay is that you basically just got this open world that really doesn't have anything in it. You just kind of wander around in it, but you'll find these like caverns around the map. And basically in each cavern there's a boss fight. And it's basic. Okay, so the game is all 2D. It's 2D. It's like pixel art sort of game. Basically, it's a top-down 2D game, and basically all you have is a bow and an arrow. And by an arrow, I mean one single arrow. Every time you shoot it, you got to go retrieve it. Or there is a mechanic that you can like magnetize the arrow to come back to you and stuff. But you just have one arrow, so you got to keep on using this. And each boss is like super unique, and it's really cool. Like each boss has a weak point, obviously, right? And you basically just kind of gotta shoot the arrow at their weak point. But all the bosses, they have like these unique sort of movement styles. They're all different. And like every time you enter a new boss battle, it's like, oh snap, a new puzzle to solve, right? It's like, how do I get their weak point available? Where is their weak point in the first place? And it's just kind of this like it's this kind of sort of, you got to keep on playing, because you one hit you're dead. So you basically, the way to beat the bosses is just play it over and over, and learn their patterns and stuff. And I found it really cool. I found it like a lot of times, like, games like that where you got to keep on trying over and over, I find like you can get really frustrated. And there were a few times where I got a bit frustrated, but like I felt like, just fighting these bosses, it was like the whole experience of just like learning their weak points, learning their patterns and stuff. Like I found that really compelling. Decided to use the word compelling, but it was. So almost just lost the last 20 minutes of audio. Had to go through a huge big ordeal to just fix that audio, because it was corrupted by Premiere. So hopefully this audio doesn't get corrupted, but VLC is my savior, because it frickin' played the audio and I was able to export it out of there. So that's beautiful. And I just listened to what I was just saying to remember what I was saying. But yeah, so it's super compelling, as I was saying. But there is one little issue I had with the game, which made it a bit more frustrating than I feel like it needed to be. Like it's not an easy game, okay? It's meant to be a little bit brutal and, test your patience, maybe sort of Dark Souls kind of. I haven't played Dark Souls, but I've heard it's really hard and, makes you try things over and over again. So it's got a bit of that vibe to it. But the one thing that really frustrated me, it wasn't too bad, but the frickin' spawn points. Because you go into these caves or whatever to go to each boss, right? But the spawn point can sometimes be like a minute walk away, right? So you gotta walk all the way back to the frickin' cave to go fight the boss again. And that's annoying when you start fighting the boss for the first time, you die within the first couple seconds. Now you gotta spend a minute walking back to go try and fight it again. And it feels like the whole point of the game is to learn through trying, right? It's not like, oh, you're supposed to beat the boss the first time. No, you're supposed to try. And it's annoying when you make us go all the way back to the spawn point that's so far away, when the whole game is about trying again. You should make it easy. You should make it so that when we enter the cave, that's where we spawn from. We spawn from the entrance to the cave. And luckily, the last boss that you have to fight, well, at least the last few bosses, the spawn point is relatively close to where the boss battle is. It's a short walk up some stairs. And those tend to be the hardest bosses, right? Because they're at the end. So at least in the end, it kind of got easier. But there were parts, because basically you first have like, I think 4 bosses you have to defeat, and then you go into this big open area where it's actually a bit tough to like find where all the boss caves are. So you got to walk around, and then you might find a spawn point that shows that there's 3 boss battles around you, and then every time you die from one of those boss battles, you go back to the spawn point and you got to walk again, and that's annoying. So if there was something I could change about the game, that would be it. But overall, it's a pretty fun game, and I don't know how much it is on Steam. I could do a little check right now, because I have the game up on Steam. It's $17. That's pretty expensive. I would wait till it's at least below 10. I don't think it's worth the $17. But, well, it might be. it was a fun experience overall. I think I got it in a humble bundle, so at most I paid a few bucks for it, and it was definitely enjoyable, and I recommend it. If you got a humble bundle within it, then I recommend playing it. Check it out, Titan Souls. It's this fun pixel art boss battle sort of fun game. Uh, and okay, let me talk about the last thing I want to talk about, which is the game I am currently in the middle of playing. Uh, I played a bit a few nights ago. I haven't played much since because I've been studying uh, into the late night hours. But where is it? It is called. This came out I think a year or two ago. It's called The Vanishing of Ethan Carter Redux because they updated the game to I think use DirectX 12. I want to say that's anyway. They improved the graphics and stuff, and it's like this is okay. So basically, this is like a walking simulator. As far as I haven't played through the whole thing. I've played 2 hours so far, and so far it's basically a walking simulator. You walk around, and basically it seems like you're this you're like Paul Prospero, I think is your name, and you're trying to solve this case, this whatever's going on at this place, uh, Ethan Carter's place. Stuff has gone down. I don't want to spoil anything because stuff happens, but it's so far it's been pretty good. Like, um, it's like your typical walking simulator, although the graphics are really good. So if you got a graphics card that can handle those graphics, it's a pretty good looking game. Uh, so it's a lot of like the environment. It's like it's real life sort of like more like countryside sort of small town sort of vibe to it. Um, and it just looks beautiful. Like you're like traveling between like a bunch of islands, and there's forests everywhere, and the trees look great, and the you can look off into the sunset, and there's like this huge dam that's holding water back that looks like freaking huge when you look from it. And it's visually it's pretty impressive. Gameplay wise, it's kind of like a sort of mystery sort of thing. You got to run it. You're walking around, trying to find clues and stuff. And then when you find the clues, what you can do is that basically you're trying to assemble this scene, this crime scene, and basically you just find all these different uh, different pieces of evidence or different things, and you kind of have to recreate the scene. So you got to put things back in place to where they were when the crime was committed, and then after that, you basically get a bunch of different like I'll say clips of what happened, and you basically just have to order them, and then once you order all these like different moments of the crime taking place, then it plays through the whole sequence for you and shows you exactly what happened, and it's pretty neat. Stuff is happening. Oh my goodness, like you'd think it's just like when you from looking at this sort of like just like random footage of the game or the trailer or whatever, you think it's just a normal walking simulator. You're walking through this town, but my goodness, there's magical sort of weird sort of stuff going on. Like at one point, I'm freaking following this astronaut. I'm chasing after this astronaut through the forest, and then I ended up on a freaking spaceship. And this I think what it's supposed to be is like this is what's going on through the head of the person you're playing as. But it's weird. I'm like, okay, I was not expecting this from this sort of game. From you see the setting of the game. You're walking around in some rural area, and then you're suddenly on you're on a spaceship, doing some crazy stuff. And basically, it seems like it's like this is probably what was going through Ethan Carter's head, because Ethan, he's a little child, but he writes these like short stories and stuff that you can find around. And apparently, one of his short stories involved going on a spaceship. So apparently, your imagination took you there, and in the real game, you end up on a freaking spaceship in freaking space. So you need to see it all, right? Am I right? But yeah, that's the game I've been playing now. Probably won't play any more of it until after like my main chunk of exam stuff is done. And then yeah, after that I'll probably maybe look into playing The Witcher. I haven't bought it yet. I probably should have bought it during the fall sale, but I might end up buying it during like the Christmas sale or whatever. So that should be good. And I know Overwatch is going to do a Christmas thing too, so I may get back in and play a bit of Overwatch or whatever. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's the video games I've been playing recently. A lot of them have been pretty fun. And like all of them, I can honestly recommend all of those games. All pretty good. You know, it depends what kind of games you like to play, whether you should play it, but check them out at least, or at least during a Steam sale, check them out, because they're fun, and I recommend. And yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's it for this episode of the Cheese Pie Podcast. It went for a solid 36 and a half minutes. Okay, something just stopped. Why did that just stop moving? Hopefully I'm still recording. The time just stopped while I was looking at it, which is really creepy. It seems like the computer's freaking watching me, and I don't even have a webcam on this computer. So that's weird. But hopefully audio still records. If it doesn't, might have to use VLC again. Hopefully that doesn't need to happen. But yeah, so 37 minutes now. It's the time still playing over here. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this freaking episode of the Cheese Pie Podcast. It's I don't know. It's weird because I'm not that talkative, but yet right now I just freaking talked for 37 minutes. There wasn't 37 minutes straight because I had a few recording issues in between, but overall I got it done. The full podcast is out because you're listening to it right now, and I can say that because if you don't end up ever listening to this, then you know no one heard me lie, so it's fine. Anyway, guys and girls, people of the internet, man, woman, gentleman, gentlewoman, ladies, any other gender identity that you may have, I hope you have a freaking great day, and maybe I'll record another podcast in the near future as well, and maybe not. Hey, who knows? Anyway, peace out. Have a great day. Bye.